Hello, and welcome to DoubleClick Rich Media Asset Library Training for Advanced Dynamic Creatives. This training video covers the following topics: how to use Asset Library assets in your dynamic feeds, and how to upload feeds with Asset Library non-video assets. If you haven't already, we suggest watching the previous videos on Asset Library, including the overview and how to use the Asset Library for standard rich media creatives to familiarize yourself with Asset Library in general. Let's get started. Upload your assets to the Asset Library. There's one major restriction on using Asset Library assets in dynamic creatives compared to standard rich media creatives. That is, you cannot use dynamic assets across different advertisers. Dynamic creatives and the assets they reference are always advertiser level bound. This means when you upload assets for use in a dynamic feed, you must make sure any folders or assets are under the same advertiser as your dynamic profile. For example, if you create a new dynamic profile within Mike's Car Depot, all assets you've referenced in the feed should be uploaded within Mike's Car Depot's Studio Created folder. Let's walk through the process now on how to use the dynamic path from the Asset Library in a feed. For a new car promotion, we've set up a new campaign in Studio that is called New Car Promotion 2014 for our advertiser Mike's Car Depot. That folder is being mirrored in Asset Library. We're going to create a new custom folder in that campaign that we will call Dynamic Images. In this custom folder, we are uploading 4 images of new cars that Mike's Car Depot wants to advertise during their new 2014 car promotion. We are creating the new custom folder under the campaign level because these images are specifically designed for this promotion and won't be used elsewhere. Let's upload our 4 images for the campaign. When you select one of the assets, a file details page displays on the right side. Underneath the name of the assets, the thumbnail, dimensions, and file size, you will see the dynamic path for the selected asset. The dynamic path for an asset always starts with drm_asset, and is followed by the advertiser name folder, then any other subfolders in its path, and finally, the file name and extension. To use the asset in your dynamic feed, copy the dynamic path and paste it into the image column cell of our feed. This is the feed we are using. As you can see, it is a simple ABC test, where we want to test which headline and image combination performs the best. We paste the dynamic path into the first cell of the column, URL_image, which belongs to the essence-car. We repeat the same for the other images, so all headlines have the correct car image linked. Again, note that you can't share dynamic assets with a different advertiser's profile. In order to use the same assets for multiple advertisers, you need to re-upload the assets for each of them. Upload your feed into the dynamic profile. Now we'll go to our dynamic profile of the advertiser, Mike's Car Depot, to upload our feed under Step 2, Manage Data. Let's upload our Google Docs feed now, following the same steps as for a normal dynamic campaign. Once you've uploaded the feed and you're ready to transform, you'll see the field type Asset Library Path for the column you are using with the Asset Library URL. The system will automatically detect this field type for the column that has the Asset Library path. In addition, you can also use videos, and our system will choose the field type Asset Library Video File path. Now click Transform. Once your feed is finished transforming, go to Step 4, Generate Code, and you'll be able to copy the code into your dynamic creatives. From here, you can reference each property like a normal dynamic creative. When you look at the code, you'll see that the image serving path has been updated for our image column since we selected the Asset Library _path field type. It also indicates that the asset will be served from an SSL compliant URL. If replacing an asset in the asset library, as shown in the hot swapping and replacing assets video, the new asset will not be reflected in your dynamic creative automatically. You will always need to retransform the feeds for changes to take effect. That covers how to use Asset Library in your advanced dynamic creatives. If you want to know more about using Asset Library with dynamic creatives, check out our videos on Asset Library directories and relative paths.